Welcome to Being Curious, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on remarkable people and the journeys that shape them. Today's guest is a man whose name has become synonymous with purpose, youth empowerment, and bold vision across Africa and beyond. He's a media entrepreneur, international speaker, podcaster, social entrepreneur, and cancer overcomer from Cape Town, South Africa. With 12 plus years of experience in branding, PR, digital strategy, and transformational storytelling, he is the founder and executive chair of the New Generation International Foundation, which he started at 16 years old. Amazing. And the founder of Align SA as well as CEO of KHL Media. Oh my God. His podcast, Unpack the Facts, spans 52 plus countries with over 27,000 YouTube subscribers. He has delivered 90 plus keynote engagements across Africa and abroad, collaborated with Nelson Mandela Foundation, South Africa Tourism and Global Brands, and been recognized as a SADC Trailblazer of the Year and one of the top 100 young Nelson Mandelas. Through NGIF, he has impacted over 0.5 million youth across six African nations. NGIF's flagship program, the New Generation Leaders Assembly (NGLA 2026), takes place in Cape Town this year on 18 to 22nd of November 2026, bringing together 50 countries of young leaders for a fully funded, immersive leadership experience that includes a 1,000 US dollars equity-free seed grant for every selected delegate. Mr. Kgotso Hope, I am more than honored to have you today on Being Curious podcast. I mean, you are one of the most compelling voices in the African youth leadership space right now. Happy to have you here today.
I am happy to be here. Wow. Firstly, thank you for having me. It's an honor, it's a privilege. Hello to everyone across the board, specifically in Asia, Pakistan per se. That bio was a handful. You're talking about me. You're talking about me. I'm so honored. I think I'm blessed and I'm blessed and privileged to be a part of this and to share my journey, and of course share the upcoming New Generation Leaders Assembly 2026, which we are also excited for.
Yeah, so people, young change agents from all across the world who will be watching this episode, stay tuned to the very last since Mr. Kogotso will be spilling the beans of NGIF assembly happening this year in Cape Town. So you'll also be getting so many things in one package. Okay, so let's talk about you first. Gotso, when I was reading your story, so your story begins in Cape Town, which is a city of breathtaking beauty and sharp contrast. When you think back to the version of Kogotso growing up there, what pictures come to your mind? What was the world like, and how did it shape you then?
That's a good question. I think when I think about the very young version, when I think about the very young version of myself, I think he was a very curious young person. It fits perfectly to the title of the show, and very delusional to also say. He was a dreamer. How he dreamt about a lot of things which have come to pass now, and I think he's very proud of that. Um, I think overall, I would say that the young version of me believed in everything I stand for today and everything I've become today, and if I could locate them anywhere they're at right now, if I could walk up to my younger version, I think he would just look at me and smile and say, it's not as delusional as it was then to dream and be curious about certain things, because now here we are. I mean, here we are. We're on a podcast all the way from Pakistan. Can you imagine? Like, took that dreamer to be here.
Of course, of course. I mean,
So
that
yeah,
is
that's what
indeed
I think.
such a, yeah, beautiful explanation of your journey from a dreamer, a delusional person to indeed now a change maker, I would say so. Uh, so you also like describe yourself as, a cancer overcomer. I mean, this that is an identity many people carry very quietly, but you have woven into very openly, into your story. So can you take me back to that chapter? What that season teach you, that nothing else could have in your life?
Oh, these questions are so good. They're just taking me back. They are very good. Very good
Yeah.
questions. I think when I think about the younger version of me, like I said earlier, who was the dreamer, the delusion, young kid, was curious, right? Who wanted so much out of the world, even things that were perhaps unattainable at the time. I always knew what would set me apart would be a story, and a story that would change lives. And at the time, I was the illusionist, dreamer, curious child. I didn't have that, and I knew I was missing that. And when I put it that way, people are saying, "So are you trying to say that the cancer was the story that you needed?" Absolutely not. I don't think any child, any human being should go through the cancer experience. It's a horrible experience, and it's not meant to teach you anything, but for me it was actually the silver spoon I needed to my journey. So when I was 9, of course, just to give you a backstory. So when I was 9, I was diagnosed with cancer. Spent close to 2 years well, just over 2 years in hospital. Um, in that season of my life, the young version of me who was the dreamer, the delusionist child, all of those things helped me be able to manage the season of overcoming it. Not just overcoming, but how do I put it? Of managing this new change in my life where I had this enemy that was killing me from within. Um, but that gave me a platform. Prior to that, I was this child who was a dreamer and did not have to compare themselves or to see how other children exactly were thinking. But in the 2 years I was in the hospital, I was in a hospital, Red Cross, which is one of the best children hospitals in Africa. It's in Cape Town. I got exposed to various children, various families from different parts of Africa, and I realized, hey, I need to overcome this, because if I can overcome this, I'm going to bring so much hope to so much people. But also the resilience that comes from this thing is going to set my journey and my life on another pedestal. And I made a what I'll call a covenant with God, and I said, um, "Hey man, I don't know why you put me here. It's not nice. But if you heal me from this, I will make sure that I tell the whole world of this miracle, how good you are, and also I will inspire the whole world, inspire the whole generation until the end of time." And when I look at it, when I look at it, I mean, I was, like I said to you, I was very young. I was 9. I I had to teach people what cancer was. I had to overcome cancer. I had to go through certain things that till this day I might not fully understand. But it was that story that shaped everything about me. I think today I stand here, and I can boldly say nothing can defeat me or kill me or remove me from my light, because what scientifically was meant to kill me and had no cure till this day, I defeated. So I always say that the world can bring its best shots. I'm unstoppable today.
I mean, it's such a transformational. Yeah, I mean, super impressive that how your story has been a source of inspiration for so many other people who are going through, this disease. I would say it's not been easy, never been easy, but the way you battle with this and you have overcome this, I mean, it is indeed a great source of inspiration for so many people out
Thank you
there.
very much.
And how after that incident, you just keep going. And as you said, you are definitely unstoppable. And yeah, I mean, super super lovely to hear about your experience. And sending you so many wishes and luck for your next journey, which you had planned out. Yeah, love from Pakistan, from each one of us for
I
you,
love that.
brother.
Love that. I absolutely love it. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Brother, the next part is also very, uh, I would say, outstanding in your career. You, I mean, founded the Next Generation International Foundation, right? At just 16 years old. I mean, that is such a age when so many people even didn't know even about, what they're gonna do in their lives. And you just, established a new foundation. So most teenagers at that age, they're just figuring out their social circles, and you are building an institution. So where did that, compulsion come from? Like, was there a single moment, a person, or an experience that planted that seed in your mind? To build this foundation, or what did that version of you believe that older Kogotso still holds on to today?
Ooh, these questions are so good. They just take me back. Wow. It was the year 2026. I mean, not 2026, 2016 rather. That's 10 years ago. So we celebrated 10 years today, this year. And what was going through my mind? I think so after the cancer experience in from 2013, right, when I started my journey, um I knew that I would never be a normal child in society because of my experience and my story, right? And my journey. One, I mean, think about it. I said earlier on, I was a dreamer, I was a delusional child. That automatically made me weird in society because why are you so curious? Why are you such a dreamer? You have big dreams, you have these big delusions about what you want to do in the world one day. Cool. That puts me aside already. Then I have cancer at age 9, and now I overcome it. Scientifically, it's impossible. How did I do that? So I've always been set apart. I've always been what you perhaps call a misfit. So when you speak about kids were trying to find their social teenagers were trying to find their social circles, I've always been the one to have to create my social circles because of just how different my life journey was. You know, teenagers will speak about, oh, last year I did A, B, and C. I barely could have that because last year, like the most of my 2 years of my past year, I was in hospital defeating cancer. So that already set me apart one way or the other. But after that cancer experience in 2013, we started our projects, right? Going to shelters, going to schools, going to orphanages, just sharing this cancer experience, this cancer story, and inspiring kids to dream. It's so important to dream. It's so important to have something to look forward to and work for. It's so important to know that the sky is not the limit. You know what I mean? It's so important to know that you can be anything you set your mind to. So that was the mindset I was sharing out there. And we, at that time, I had a great team. In my team, there's only one person who's still in the team right now, who was in the team then, who's our media guy, who is the one that edits our videos and creates our promos. And, you know, it was though we were so astonished at how this work that we were doing, the Retho Regis projects, was growing by speed. I think by 2015 we were already being nominated on African awards and continental awards, and we were just like, we are just doing the small we're just doing small things, but the small things that we're doing is reaching larger impact, larger numbers, I remember, I think it was 2015, 2014. I think it was 2014. 2014, in two occasions, I spoke at a school. It was actually my school. There was like 5,000. No, there was 1,000 students at that one. And then later on in the year, I spoke at a business conference. I don't know how I even got there. I don't remember, but there was like 5,000 people, and this happened at one. These were one take wonders in terms of, I didn't prepare a lot. I didn't have to. I There was an opportunity, and these people, I mean, I would speak about the business people per se. I was 14, 15. I don't know why they thought they would want to listen to some 14-year-old, 15-year-old who is just navigating school. But they wanted to hear this cancer story from my mouth. They wanted to hear my POV on everything from my mouth. And I remember they gave me a standing ovation. I was just like, okay, wow, this is impressive. But when 2016 came, I by the end of 2015, I knew that in the new year, the work that we're doing as the new generation projects at the time is not going to be the same. The number we are dealing with more than just projects now. We are dealing with capacity. The world wants this, and the world is calling us, and God has expanded us to do more. We need to officially become at the time we became an organization, a foundation. So that's what we launched, and within 8 months from there, we were already like in 3 African countries. So like I said, whatever you set your mind on aligns to everything that God wants for you. But also, there was just capacity to impact the world. I think in the first year we even became a foundation, that 2016, when we finally became the new generation international foundation. We we reached about 50,000 young people in 1 year, and there was no stopping. It became even harder to even stop. And I mean, people around me. I mean, there were people around me who wondered, what do you mean you are thinking about the world? You're supposed to be thinking about yourself, like all of those things. But people aligned. We've worked with some of the most incredible people in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, in Nigeria, different parts of Africa, and sooner or later the work starts going globally. And I guess that's why we are getting to where we're at right now. So, as I'll always say to someone who's listening, do not despise small beginnings. Never despise them. You never know.
Mm. I mean, I can't express in words listening to your journey so far, how you started out, and me and you currently sitting here doing this podcast is a live example of that, thinking and the manifestation that you are having in your mind is becoming a reality right now. And
Yeah.
great to see that how different parts of Africa, they got connected with each other on so many common things
Yeah.
that you are ideating in your mind back then, and the impact that you have created through your idea. I mean, it's amazing to see, and it's because of people like you, young agents like you, the world is getting hope, and the world, is becoming a better place. So kudos to you for starting this out,
Thank you very
and I
much.
hope it will reach to more milestones in the coming years, becoming a more
Amen to that.
globally connected organization for sure, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's switch towards about the role of faith in your journey. So, Kgotso, what do you think? So, like in a world where many leaders are careful to keep faith private, right? And you lead with it very openly. Why is
Hmm.
that important to you? And how has it cost you or rewarded you in your professional life? The role of faith in your professional life.
This question is beautiful because it has so many layers. I think one, I think your first question is, in a world where so many leaders are so careful with keeping their faith private. I think that's what that has led to so many reasons why so many countries have decayed. Is because people hide the true essence of what they stand for. It's in life. It's so important to stand for something, right? It's so important to choose something and choose it boldly. You know, um, and for me, faith is everything. Faith is the foundation of everything I am. Um, from the very core of it. And it's impacted my life in the space I am, right? In the space of the work I do and the work that requires to impact people. It requires you to believe in the impossible. One, it requires you to have a vision that far exceeds what you see with your obstacle eyes, right? Three, it requires you to have a heart and care for people that you have not met yet, right? It requires you to have such a heart that you are catering for the ends of the earth before you've even stepped into those things. And the only currency and the only tool that would work for that is faith. No book that you read is going to fill you up with um the the passion. It's going to fill you up with knowledge, but knowledge doesn't translate to compassion. If it did, trust me, we would have less billionaires just sitting with billions and not helping the people around them. So knowledge doesn't translate to compassion, right? Because we all know that the world is suffering to world hunger, the yada yada yada. But has it translated to compassion? Not at all. So faith for me has helped me be able to stand in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the challenges. Currently with the new generation leaders assembly that we are working on, it's been standing on faith. You know what I mean? My team and I have been discussing, and we have been, obviously we are working every single day to ensure this is a success. But also we have sessions where we encourage each other and we spend time to remind each other of the bigger vision. And I don't know if you know the story of Noah and the ark. Um, when
Yeah,
Noah had to
I
build an
know the
ark,
story,
right?
but you can also,
It's like
yeah, yeah, tell to the
so
audience who doesn't. Yeah,
so there's a biblical story of and I always say biblical story, but I also want to reiterate that it is a live human story that has happened many decades ago, right? It's very important to know that it's not Superman or some Spider-Man story. It's real. But Noah, God chose Noah to build an ark, right? To save people and animals, because there was going to be a flood that was going to take over the world. Now, here's the thing. Noah in
absolutely.
human Noah in human capacity was not qualified to build an ark, right? He didn't have plans that, oh, in the next 5 years I'm going to build an ark. So guess what? I'm so ready. Choose me, God. It was not a matter of choose me, God. He was chosen by God. And another thing, God works like this. God qualifies the unqualified. Right? So Noah had to step into faith and do what? And say, okay, God, I am going to submit to you. Show me how to do this. And I was watching a documentary yesterday that explains the story, that every detail of how Noah built that ark, what happened in the ark, the kind of things they used, it was through divine instructions, right? And the thing is, without faith, it is important to please God. And Noah built an ark and he saved a lively stock and everything, and anyone who didn't choose to get in perished with the flood, of course. But my point is with this is, in the season where we're building the new generation leaders assembly, I've been saying to the team that I feel like I mean, that season of Noah, where what we are building, the new generation, feels like we're building the ark, right? And am I qualified to build the ark? Guess what? My CV can say yes, 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 yes. But the thing is, I'm not trying to build another conference or another gathering of young people. That's not what we're doing here. We're building something that is right and it's different to all of these things. So that requires faith. We're building something that someone in Pakistan right now who is on their knees asking God for a change in their life, we are building something that's going to touch that young person and change their life completely. And that requires faith. Have I been to Pakistan? No. Do I know the north to the south and west of Pakistan? No. So, how will I be able to foresee what Pakistan needs? It can only be by faith. Has it cost me? Has it cost me anything? Yes, it's absolutely cost me anything. Because faith is delusional. Faith is faith is believing in the impossible. As I said earlier,
Mm.
faith is looking at a mountain and saying this mountain will move, and people are asking themselves, "Really, you really think that?" Moses had to split the sea, the Red
Yeah.
Sea. It took faith. Abraham, which you guys call Ishmael, right? Ibrahim, no, it's to go to Ibrahim, right? Abraham had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
become the
Hazrat
father
Ibrahim.
of
Yeah.
many. You know, Abraham had to become the father of many nations through faith. At a certain point, Abraham had to. God said, "Bring your child as an offering," and he did exactly that. It was through faith, but God is faithful. God was checking him out for something else. But my point is, faith is the cornerstone of the work that we're doing. The world we live in only came to fulfillment because someone had faith. The platform that we're using to record this, someone had to have faith to believe they're going to create something that is going to stand out. So it's cost me, of course, as I said, that one, to some people it's delusional, it's impossible, and that's fine. But it's also rewarded me in the greatest forms and ways, because in every single project I've worked on, right now we're working on this global thing, right? But when I have to confront the idea that will this happen, will this be a possible, I have so much evidence of what faith has done for me in the last 13 years, how faith and God has showed up from the very first time we started the projects of the new generations in 2013 to the very first time we launched the new generation as a foundation in 2016, to the very first time we had conferences in other African countries, to the very first time we sponsored 100 kids to school. Those milestones, I mean, like I started this thing when I was 16. How was I doing all of these massive things? We had global conferences. I've worked with global organizations to organize global conferences where we had shorter periods to even do so. It was true faith. So faith empowers you. So it comes as impossible, but once you conquer with faith, it empowers you for the next big challenge. And here we are right now with the new generation. So it's everything.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more with all of the beautiful examples that you have given in your response to the question. I mean, faith keeps you going. There is always this something in every person's life that gives them inspiration, motivation,
Yeah,
or fuel for life.
yeah,
There's some purpose attached to that. So, in to fulfill that purpose, one needs to have that uh, faith in his mind, in his heart. I am gonna be believing the unbelievable. I'm gonna be believing the impossible,
exactly.
as you
And
were
just to add,
mentioning now.
and just to add, right? And just to add before we move on, um, the beauty of standing on faith is so unique. I wish we were doing this live so I could make an illustration. Faith is solid, right? because it stands on a God that is never changing. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's not good. He's not the weather, right? He is not the weather. But standing on anything that's on this side of the world is putting your life at risk. And in my journey, I have tested both in terms of, if you're going to put your, when we were in school, we were told that there were nine planets, right? In school, you were told there were nine planets in the
Yeah,
world. I mean, in the galaxies.
absolutely.
And if you ever said,
Pluto.
if
I
you
think
ever
the
said there
ninth
were
one was
seven,
Pluto.
but if you ever said there were like, if you said on the test six or four or five, you got it wrong, right? They would mark you wrong. You'd fail the test. But now, today, we live in a world where they say there are many planets. There's more than nine planets, right? What I'm trying to
Mm,
show you is information of this world changes, right? So if you put your faith
mm,
on things of this world, you might wake up and get disappointed, right? But when you put your faith in
mm.
God and have Him orchestrate everything, He's not going to change. He's not the weather. He's consistent, and that's important. And if you want to go far, you need to stand with something that's going to, that that you will be able to look at it and it's not going to change.
I mean, indeed, indeed, that is the true essence of faith and true power of believing in unbelievable, I would say. And
Yeah,
if there are 10 people, if there are a group of 10 people and they are saying, see what is happening there on the rock, but you say, so no, you know, there's also something more to the side of the rock. Because
yeah,
you maybe, as you were saying in your answer, that when you are chosen by God, you think differently. Your powers become, you know, the imagination powers of a human being become more
enhanced.
powerful than a
Yeah.
normal human being. And I couldn't agree more on that. So faith is very central. I mean that is the case. Okay, let's switch towards your journey. Good. So, like, what is the hardest chapter in your life so far, apart from the cancer journey, apart from the public challenges that you face? Like, if you talk to me on a very personal level, like the quite private struggle, every human being feel or they go through. So, what was that struggle for you?
Sure. That's wow.
I mean, what? I just to elaborate. What kept you going when you couldn't see the path forward? You talked about faith. Uh, faith is the only answer to this question, or is there anything else?
So I think in 2021, 2021, where the pivot of so many things happened, where I put down everything, I paused everything, the foundation, the unpack the facts, everything, and I stepped away, and this was through an instruction from God, right? Um, and I had to face myself and realize so much. I think the hardest thing about purpose, right? It comes with so many things, right? Purpose is great. I wish everyone to discover their purpose, but there is a cost of that, right? There's a cost of leadership. There's a cost of purpose. Purpose number one comes with betrayal. Purpose number one comes with having so many people at your table, good and bad intentions. You never know, right? But purpose, specifically purpose that comes from God, brings the vulnerability of you loving people, right? And it's a beautiful to love people. but it also comes with the burden and the downfall of it all. I think it's the hardest thing has been to navigate navigate purpose. You know, when I was starting, and I'm going to stick to this. When I was starting, the excitement and the goal wasn't. I didn't start and say, "Oh, I want to reach the whole world. We're gonna build a foundation and we're gonna touch the whole world." No, that's not how we started. It was, I just want to impact the people around me. So we went to schools, we went to charities, we went to all of that, and then the work grew gradually. Right? That's how it started. The work grew gradually. Then one day we started moving from one country to the next. Right? But now here's a situation. Um, we here now, and we now get an opportunity to process and think, and you understand something that the sacrifice and the selflessness that is required to walk into purpose is one thing, you know. And as someone who walks in faith, I've come to realize how I always say to people, if Jesus could be betrayed by Judas, who am I? You know what I mean? Um,
Mm.
it's it's the cost. It's the cost, and I think I'm emphasizing on the cost of purpose is because I wish I understood it much better when I started. That what I'm stepping into comes at a cost of, it's like you carrying a cross. It's a burden. It can't. I don't like the word burden because it makes it seems like, oh my gosh, people should run away from purpose. No, but
Mm.
knowledge is power, right? When if you could understand that what you are taking on, you know, I'm gonna keep mentioning the conference that we are working on this year. The burden every single day that I carry, because I'm thinking about the nations of this world. I'm thinking about young people. When we were starting out in February and we're speaking to the accommodation place that we're going to be hosting people, the marketing director guy said something. He said, he's also a faith person. He's like, this is incredible because you are thinking about people who don't even know that are being thought of right now. You are thinking about people you haven't
Mm.
met. You are thinking about countries you don't even know exist. And I didn't think about that because that's actually what it is. We are thinking about someone right now who's in some country, whether Pakistan, America, who's on their knees and saying they are tired of going from conference to conference. They need something real. They need real change. They're at the verge of giving up.
Mm.
And that is, for me, this is purpose. So the fact that my purpose is catering to that individual is a burden. And and hence it's been important for me to spend time alone most of the time when I can, refill my cup, because the burden of that work is not easy, and it's not something to take lightly. So I think the cost the greatest challenge is understanding how heavy purpose is. How when you are
Mm.
chosen for something, it's beautiful, but it is an honor and a burden at the same time. And the quicker thing you can do is to come to terms with it and say, God, strengthen me. There's no other way but use me as fit as you can, and let me do it exactly how. Because another thing about purpose that comes with burden, you get an assignment to do something, right? It's not just when it comes to purpose, it's not just about doing the assignment. It's doing the assignment exactly as the way you were expected to do it. So it's not just about, oh,
Hmm.
God says I must reach 50,000, 50 countries. They must come to Cape Town. No, that's not just about, it's about doing it exactly as how I mentioned the story of Noah. Noah had to build the ark exactly as how God wanted him to build it. It was not just a matter of, oh,
Hmm.
God says I must build an ark. Let me build an ark. Mm-mm. It was about he had to build it exactly in every form and way and shape how God wanted him. So that is purpose. Purpose is the burden of purposes fulfilling it exactly as how God wants you to fulfill it, and understanding that the people that God called you for might also be the people that might betray you, but it doesn't matter. You keep going.
Hmm. I mean, brother, you always come up with so encouraging words, and the way you express and build up your thoughts with these examples really simplified the context in building a very quick understanding of the things.
I hear,
And
brother.
I would like to,
Yeah,
I would, I would like to uh, mention a quotation here. You know, the
sure.
road to greatness is always a lonely track. You're gonna be meeting people along the journey who will say, you know, they're gonna work with you, they will come along with you. But as you are saying, you know, purpose, it also comes with a burden. So you never know, you know, how or whenever they're gonna tell, you know, hey Kgotso, I'm done. I'm not gonna, you know, take this further. So you have to take this up. So as a leader, you always think about other people. You always think beyond
Yeah,
what a single person can think about, because you have to this, you know, you have to have this mindset of selflessly work for other
sure.
people to bring a change. And as exactly it is served to be, as you mentioned out the story of Ark and Nova in in your answer. I mean, it is just amazing to hear, and the way you detailed out. Good, so let's move towards the NGIF journey, right? Since we are talking about leadership here, I just wanted to know that it was born on 22nd of January 2016, right? So, but before the, you know, registration papers, all the paperwork, before even the name, before the website, what was the raw, you know, idea, unfiltered problem you looked at and said, this is what I am here to solve. This is the problem which I'm gonna solving through this foundation and vision of mine. Yeah.
Ooh. I think where the name came from, the new generation. Um, the main problem was to create a new generation of young people who would be empowered, who would, you know, so much is happening in the world, right? And you can imagine this was 10 years ago. And perhaps then I thought there was so much happening in the world. But can you imagine 10 years later? I feel like so much, even more, is happening in the world. Um, but
Hmm.
the heart I had as a 16-year-old that year was I want to build a new generation that is empowered, that believes in self, that dreams big, that is innovative. I don't know that side of the world if you are popular with the statement. I grew up hearing things like "young people are the future," "young people are the future," "young people are the future," and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
we
so
always hear
tired.
about that in so many rooms, in so many rooms. You know,
You know what I mean?
you youth
I
are the
got so
future
tired.
wherever you go. Yeah,
You
yeah, I
know, I
agree.
got so tired. I got so tired of that statement because I was just like, I almost died a few years ago with cancer. Can you imagine if
Yeah,
I had to wait for the future? No one guaranteed me the future. The future
Mm,
is not in the where it is creating a new generation of young people who would believe in themselves, who will empower themselves, who will have communities that encourage them, that empowers them, and they will become the future that they need to see. Right. So the unfiltered problem that we had was, how do we scrap that idea that the young people are the future? We need to build, we need to move ourselves from this generation that lies to us about the future, the young people are being the future, into creating a new generation of young people who are going to step up into leadership, step up into empowerment, education, understanding that not only is the power in their hands, but become they can become anything they set their minds on. So one of the tools and one of the things we wanted to tackle was how young people thought. Because trust me, statements like young people of the future is an indoctrination. You become so
mm,
indoctrinated that your time is not now, your time is not now. And what that does is it disqualifies you, it makes you unprepared, it numbs you, but also it impoverishes you, because if you are told it's not your time for 10 years or 20 years and 30 years, you become so broken that even the day when opportunity comes, you are not ready, right? You're not ready to
mm,
take on the baton. So it was about changing how young people thought. It was about empowering them. It was about them understanding that no one out there is going to qualify you, because you are not made by another man telling you that the future. No, 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 no. Once again, we go back to faith. God called you for a time such as this. That's why you are even living in this earth at this time right now. Step into purpose, find your purpose, and walk into it. And that was another thing, purpose. So many people, I've had the opportunities to speak to various groups, the young, the children, the old, and I've spoken to people, older
yeah.
people in hospital. I've spoken to older people in orphanages, no, old age homes rather, not orphanages, old age homes, hospitals, in their dead beds. And they would tell me, I remember this old lady who touched my hand, and she said to me, it was at an old age home, and she said to me, I wish I worked as much as you have to find my purpose in life. And she was so sick. And that touched my heart, because I think she was around 86 at the time. This was probably like 7 years back. And it touched my heart because she was 86. She's lived for 86 years and she never got to discover her purpose.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And and now she's telling me this because she's watching me, but she doesn't even have the strength to start again. So we take for granted the opportunity, specifically young people, that we have now. You know what I mean? We take for granted that discovering your purpose so early does so much for you. So it was that for me, and everywhere we went, every single place, the cancer experience allowed me to discover purpose. Was it a great environment to discover my purpose? Absolutely not. But guess what? It did what it did. And the thing is, this that journey was not for me. And I needed to understand that. That journey was not for me. It was for everyone I get to empower through that.
Kgotso, I mean, I couldn't like once again agree with you more on this. I think the biggest tragedy with today's youth is that they are unable to find a purpose in their life, as you are saying. So, there was this session which took place at the World Economic Forum, I think last year, and there was also this representation from Pakistan. Uh, and the session was titled as Generation Uncertain. This generation, which is the Gen Z generation. Do you think so? Do you think so? Like today's generation is very uncertain, they are directionless. And if that's the case, then why is it so? Why today's generation is unable to find a purpose and live down to that person in their lives? I'm not sure about the African region. I'm not sure about the European, but this is exactly what we, hear in so many different parts from the world. So what's your take on that?
Is do I think this generation is uncertain? I don't think this generation is uncertain, right? I think this generation has become uncertain to the governments and the systems of this world. That's the difference. I think young people of today have have taken back their power in terms of not putting their faith in the systems of this world, systems which were supposed to create foundation. When I was young, I used to attend the State of National Address in South Africa every single year. I think I've been to like five. This one individual, a member of parliament, said something amazing. He said the role of the government is not to make the world a peaceful place. The world of the government is, I mean, the role of the government is to create the foundation, right, where people can create something that is going to produce fruits, right? So the governments of this world are not meant to give everyone a job, but they're meant to they're meant to create a fruitful environment for jobs to be created, right? They're meant to create a fruitful environment for the economies to work. They're meant to create fruitful environments for people to be empowered. Once the government doesn't do that, you've already disempowered an entire generation. So I don't think young people of today are uncertain. I think they've just lost faith in the governments of this world, systems that were meant to empower them. One, right? And sadly, when a slave master begins to lose power from his slaves, instead of saying that he underestimated the slaves. He would rather say that the slaves are sensing, the slaves are sensing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Please,
The
please.
slaves that the slaves are experiencing uncertainty. They're not experiencing uncertainty. What the young people are doing today is they're taking back the power, and hence why you see across the world that young people are stepping into entrepreneurship. Young people are asking the questions that the previous generations could not dare to ask. In fact, young people are seen as unruly. Young people are seen as they have no respect. I don't know which. It was an Asian country where young people flocked into where the president stayed, and they took him out. Young people,
Yeah, we have some recent examples from Nepal, from Bangladesh.
yes, it was
Just
Nepal.
to add further, yeah, there's also a very interesting case which just developed in India. I think it was the Chief Justice of India, and when he was taking a case on youth, so he called the youth as cockroaches. And you know what happened? As the aftermath of that, one word. There's this cockroach Janta Party, an alternate to Bharatiya Janata Party in India. And they built a social media presence on Instagram and they have more than 25 million followers. Could you imagine that? I mean, this
Wow.
is so unimaginable. So I think it also complements to your point that you were mentioning earlier that young people might have lost faith in the systems which are
No,
built to
no
serve them.
so if you can't control them, you would say, oh, they are confused, or they are passionate, or they don't have purpose. No, 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 no. Don't get it wrong. It's just they don't operate under your system that you had created, right? And how you controlled the previous generation, it doesn't work on them. In fact, in fact, young people from across the world, I've had the opportunities, even through the planning of this conference, to engage young people are creating the means to dealing, sorry, to dealing with issues within their government. Young people are thinking about how to operate fuel, how to navigate climate change, all of those things. And the saddest thing about what the governments of this world have failed to do and what the young people are doing, it puts young people in a place of vulnerability. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to come back to this world of conferences, right? Because young people are so eager to step into power and do the change and do the work that they were not supposed to be doing because the government is supposed to be doing. So many young people are registering to conferences everywhere, looking for community, looking for a place that validates them, place that sees them, and all of those
Mm,
things. But they are falling short to organizations, um, organization structures that are about the money making business of conferences and not the real impact, right? And now
mm,
you find individuals going to 20 conferences in 2 years, 3 years, but still feeling like they've experienced nothing. And or you find thousands of young people being rejected every single time they apply for something that they have a true passion for, and it breaks them because it feels like they don't qualify, or they don't deserve to be there, or they are don't, not doing good enough, and it's sad. And I have worked within these conferences, have spoken in many of these conferences, and I've seen so many things that I don't like. I've been in rooms where I felt like I don't qualify. I've been in rooms where I felt like this is what it's supposed to be, but also I've had the power to create conferences that are meaningful to to to, to impact. And also, I always said I've asked so many organizations prior, why do you reject people? Because the world needs more of these people. So why do you reject them? I'm not saying bring them to the conferences because ideally that it's very impossible to bring every young person, but create the means to keep in touch with this young person because this young person is already doing the work, you know? So that's so but young people are the most radical, dynamic people out there right now, and they're doing very well. And I think with every work that we are doing as the new generation, unpack the facts, align to say, we want to make sure that those young people land in the safe hands, and that's why we've created the New Generation Academy. So definitely look out for that.
yeah, I mean, sure. Uh, Young people in today's world, they are keenly looking forward to platforms like yours, and this is a high time that, as you are stating, young people want value, they want representation, and they also want more, sense of belongingness. I would say so,
Exactly.
to a community where they feel like we are also being represented here, our issues are being discussed here. This is what we are feeling in this time of period of this century, because more than half of the world population is youth, but we rarely see
Absolutely.
that youth are being represented at the leadership positions or in power positions for that matter. So how one can expect, their issues are being discussed, in those rooms or at those policy level decisions. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's hard. But let's switch towards the model of NGIF that you built on. I think it is
Yeah.
something quite radical. The idea that we were just discussing about, that youth don't need to be told what to do, right? They need to be backed with credibility, capital, and community. Where does that philosophy come from, and why do you believe it so deeply? I mean, pretty much you have covered in your answer earlier. What was the philosophy here?
I think, whew, the New Generation International Foundation, and together with the New Generation Leaders Assembly that we're having this year, I say this all the time. It's my baby. It's my love letter to young people out there, right? Um, I've been doing this for 13 years, my guy, and I have been in many rooms. I've been in many rooms in many capacities, and I've experienced presidents from various countries, my own president at the side, leaders, head of states, etc. I've been in meetings that at some point once upon a time I really thought it was the greatest privilege of my life, but the philosophy came from this, right? There's seasons in life for everything, right? There's a season
Hmm.
where getting an award is great. Hence, I'm an award-winning social entrepreneur, media personality, etc. Right? There's a there's a season getting a certificate is great. You're gonna put it on your shelf, you're gonna put it on your fridge, etc. But all of those things do not stand the test of time, right? Young people don't need to be told what to do. One. Because guess what? Young people are the first people to see when something is not right and they step into it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Two, what they need is the resources, the credibility, and the community to forge on the work that they're already doing. Trust me, the success of the conferences that are happening in the world are so easy because these conferences are basically inviting people who are already doing something in their own countries, right? So imagine if
Hmm.
you just empowered the people with something greater than a certificate, something greater than a pat on the shoulders, or something greater than the stamp on your LinkedIn that says, "Oh, you attended the Change Makers what in 2016, so you're an alumni."
Hmm.
Your alumni status is not going to empower your work. Get it straight, right? Your award on the shelf is not going to empower your work. I spoke about what that man said in Parliament many years ago about the importance of creating an environment. Young people deserve platforms that create an environment for whatever they have created to flourish and grow. Think about
Hmm.
young people as the sower, and they already have the seed. All they need is water and a foundation for their seed to grow, right? And it's
Hmm.
in my 13 years, I the things I've created with the new generation and the new generation leaders assembly are some of the things I wish I had in my journey. You know, are some of the things I wish I was provided. And but we spoke about purpose earlier. Sometimes you go through a journey so that you can be the one to create those platforms for the next generation, right? So, I
Hmm.
think the reason I'm even stopping every time I speak because I'm getting emotional because I when I say I wish I had that environment. I had people that beyond a pat on your back is great, but it's it does not do the work forever. You know what I mean? it
Hmm.
doesn't it
Yeah.
doesn't push the work forever. You know what I mean? When it's hard, you can imagine. For example, you've attended conferences. You know when you are at a conference and you're meeting, let's say, 20 kids from different countries, you feel so inspired, right? You want to go back and do so amazing. You want to do amazing things when you go back home, and then you get back home, and 3 months down the line, it gets real. That excitement is gone. Question is, what's going to keep you fueled up? That's what
Yeah.
platforms need to create, right? And that's what we want to do with the new generation assembly. and we have the resources, we have the structures. I have an incredible team. I would be doing a disservice if I didn't speak of them, who are well skilled, who've also attended conferences globally, and we are creating a one of the kind, state of the art. All I'm saying is register for the new generation leaders assembly just once, experience it just once, and tell me next year this time how your life is still the same, because it will never be the same again.
I mean, indeed, what you have figured out in your philosophy is basically that gap which exists in so many conferences. Like people go there, they met different people from other countries. They do a photo shoot there, upload it on the LinkedIn and Insta just to show other people, this is what I have done. But then all the excitement, motivation disappears when they return back. And this is the problem. This is the main problem with these conferences that I also find very disturbing. And I really love the way that you dissected it out and you find a solution to that way, and then you make that philosophy into your organization. And I'm sure that it will be a really different experience as you just mentioned out. So it's a high time for youth who are watching this to experience this time different. And I bet you, I think after Kgotso has explained it very well, I bet you that you're gonna be remember it as a lifetime experience, and you will be continuously living that philosophy in your life
Yeah.
when you will be experiencing the leadership assembly in Cape Town, South Africa this year. Good, so let's switch towards again dollar problem of the conferences. I would say so. Most leadership summits, charge young people. They put a fee like $20, $50, $80, and they like give you some category options, and sometimes thousands of dollars even, I would say so. But NGLA does the complete opposite. It gives every selected delegate 1,000 USD dollar equity free seed grant and covers 100% of their on ground costs. This is a fundamentally different and a very new model, right? So, what does it say about your theory of change and how did you get there? What was the thinking process?
Whew. Um, you know,
I mean, this model is so generous. Just see this model is so generous.
man, I think, like I said, life has there's seasons in life, right? Um, like I said, the award, there's a season where that is important. The certificate, there's a season where that is important. The pat on your back, there's a season that is important. The pictures you take and you post on social media and LinkedIn and all of that is important. But that does not drive the work that you do, right? That doesn't keep the work that you do. You can't change the world on an empty stomach. You can't empower people on an empty stomach. So much times, whew, I'm getting very emotional as I think I'm very passionate about this. Um, Purpose sets you apart, right? As we said earlier, purpose sets you apart. The work that we're doing here, for example, whether it be world change, climate change, end poverty, all of those things, not every single person believes in what we believe in, right? So
Hmm.
not everyone has the same convictions. When I was growing up and I discovered that what I wanted to do, many people thought I was crazy. Why would I care? Why do I want to change the world? Not everyone gave me support. You know what I mean? Not, it goes as
Yeah.
far as until the work became big and the results were more public. my family wasn't always involved. To most of it, they're still not very involved. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
for so many young people out there, they come from families that look at them and they say, "Why do you even bother yourself with this? This is crazy." So many kids are chucked out of their families, are being ostracized by communities for the work that they're doing because it's selfless. You know what I mean? And no matter the awards you win, if those awards don't bring resources, you become a joke in society, right? And what we are saying is, as the new generation, one, as I said, it's a love letter. It's things I wish I had when in my journey. But what we are saying is, it's important. It's important to create something that is going to empower the person that comes to the conference beyond just the topic of change. Because we can talk about change every single day, but change comes by resource, comes by access, right? So in simple form, the reason we will be giving every selected delegate $1,000, and the thing is, in the selections of the delegates, we're not only choosing people who already have things that are going on, we are choosing people who are also saying, you know what, Kgotso, I have a dream, I have a passion, I want to do something, but I don't know where to start. We'll give you that $1,000 so you can start with it. You know what I mean? But also, just to add, we will also not monitor what you do with that $1,000 seed grant, right? Because in the applications we see people share. Some say that they'll pay their school fees. Some say that they'll buy their parents a house. Some say they'll take care of their families. Yada yada yada. That's important to me. You know what I mean? Before you can change the world, if you are not in a good situation, you need to be able to fix your situation so that you can be a light to others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fix your house first. Fix your
Caring
house first. Absolutely.
caring about something doesn't mean neglecting yourself. I hope you
Hmm.
heard that. Caring about something doesn't mean neglecting yourself, right? And I
Indeed.
want oh I can't wait to have these conversations in the conference and at the conference live. I want to build, we're going to be building young, dynamic leaders from various countries as we go on this journey with them, who are going to be role models in societies, not just because of what comes out of their mouth, but how they look and what they produce. Being a change maker doesn't mean you choose poverty. Being a change maker doesn't mean that you look the dirtiest in the room. No, being a change maker meaning you are the light in the room, and therefore you must look like the light. So yeah, so the 1,000 seat grant, every selected delegate will receive it. We are not monitoring what you do with it, but we hope that you do the right thing for you, and you are the only one that knows what the right thing is for you, right? And obviously, whatever that is, next year this time when the conference happens again, we will see the results of all of that.
Hmm. And I think, indeed, everybody knows their situation well, and we wish and hope that they utilize these funds to the maximum benefit of the situation or the problem they are more passionate about solving in their
Mhm.
communities, maybe in their families. So all I think what I can understand from your response is all that you want the $1,000 to be spent in the right way. Not just to the not just to party, but actually spending on some bringing real change, because that money is not like a easy money, and it shouldn't be wasted
It's
like
not.
an easy money. Because yeah,
It's not. And,
I
and
can
when
I
you
can.
think about it, you mentioned earlier how, for example, many of these conferences require people to pay lots and lots of money to attend. We are all the only thing we are saying is we have an application fee, of course, that's standard. But even when you look at our application fee, it is one of the least fee that that we have that other conferences have, right? It's $20. When you think about it, So you would pay $20 from your application, get selected. You're responsible to bring yourself to South Africa. Everything else is taken care of. You receive 1,000 US dollar. You become part of our global academy that will be running every single
Hmm.
day, month to month. You be part of a global thing, right? It is absolutely worth it because at the end of the day, you would have only paid $20, and it gives you 100% selection. You will be part of it, whether you come to South Africa or not. You will still become part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely, it is indeed one of the best investments that a young person can invest on themselves, and they can really translate all those learnings into their local communities, in their countries, and also having the chance and opportunity to connect with global young leaders. Because as you are saying, so there is this lack of there is this lack of belongingness
Yeah,
in young people. So it's a high chance to have, you know, a connection with the community. Let's switch towards
absolutely.
Cape Town. Let's go towards geography now. We have touched upon so many aspects of leadership and NGLA. Let's talk about the location now. Why Cape Town? Why of all the cities in Africa, like it could be Nairobi, it could be Lagos, Accra, Kigali, Johannesburg, right? It could be Nigeria. Oh, why you chose Cape Town and not just for logistics? You have built the Robben
Um,
Island visit. It's such a memorable place to visit, and to
absolutely.
revive the essence of leadership and
Yeah.
Table Mountain into the very architecture of the experience. Why is Cape Town the right backdrop for this gathering?
Oh man. Whew. As I always say, I could speak about Cape Town forever and ever and ever. Um, uh,
I think I'm asking very difficult questions. I always put you in trouble.
I think why Cape Town? Let me get direct to it. Why Cape Town? Firstly, Cape Town contributed greatly to the person I am. Right? Cape Town
Hmm,
contributed greatly to the person I am, to how I view the world. Firstly, you mentioned so part of the experience that everyone will be having at the conference will be going to Table Mountain and Robben Island, right? And these two great phenomenal places environments have offered two different complete experiences. One, Robben Island gives us a very deep, raw history of
hmm,
South Africa and the apartheid and what we would call the South African slavery system, right? And the power of
hmm.
overcoming that. And I think from a global level, a global knowledge perspective, it's so important to know that story, but to experience it as well. And when you go to Robben Island, you experience it. I go to Robben Island at least once a year, every year, and I'm a new person every single time I go. Um, Two. So why Robben Island first as well? Once you can fathom what happened there, and how deep the war was, and how deep the what needed to be overcame was, it will unlock your mind to know that no oppression in this world can stop you. Right? Two. And it's only things that you can only go and experience for yourself for that to be taught to you, not by telling you. Two, Table Mountain is one of the seven wonders of the world. When you stand at Table Mountain and you see the view of the this big beautiful um Cape Town, but not only just Cape Town, the Cape Town is at the right at the bottom of Africa, right? So when you stand in Table Mountain, basically you're looking at the tip of Africa, the bottom of Africa. And I want the delegates to experience what it means to be on top of the world. Going back to faith, if you're going to impact the world, you need to have a higher view of the world. You can't impact the world if you see it in the same level that the other people see it. So when I go to Table Mountain and I stand on Table Mountain, I look at that as I'm looking at South Africa from a higher place. And everyone that I'm called to impact is those small people I'm seeing walking around the streets. And that's the view I want people to get. I want you to know that if you can successful, I shared this quote at my last conference with Ecove last year. I said, down people cannot impact down people, but up people can impact down people. You need to have a POV, a preview of life from a higher perspective in order to impact the people who are at the bottom. So those experiences, but it wasn't a situation of we said, oh, let's do it in Cape Town. It's easy because we're all in Cape Town anyway. I mean, not all the rest of the team is even in different parts. We have Hamza who's in Egypt and all of that. But it was not just about, oh, it's easy, or also let's take them to Robben Island or Table Mountain because it's touristic places. No, it's intentional. Because remember, I told you the conference that we are creating is not just the typical. After that 4 days experience, I think you guys are gonna cry.
Hmm.
You guys are not gonna want to go home. You guys are gonna want the conference to go on and on and on. And that's the beauty of it all. That we are creating something bigger than just a conference. So I can't wait to experience how all of you receive what we are creating.
Oh my God. I mean, there is so much thought process that you have invested in choosing the locations and the city and how beautifully you explained it out. I mean, lovely to see. Every component of the conference now I can see and clearly imagine that there is so much being done behind the scenes. It's not like putting words on a paper and
Yeah,
publishing it out to the conference delegates. Everything is being seriously discussed, heavily given thoughts, and then it become a thing on the paper. So
yeah,
so grateful, and can't wait to be there and experience that. Every place I think gives you a very different feeling, and then that
true.
different feeling stays with you, and it also then becomes a part of your thinking and mindset. So yeah, there's so many commonalities that they give you. Okay, so can we discuss day one if delegates want to know? You can't spill the beans here. What November 18, I think so. November 18 is the first day of NGLA. Can you walk me into the room on day one? Like someone who had flown from, let's just say, Kenya, someone flown from Mexico, someone from Brussels, someone from Indonesia, someone from Japan, someone from Kigali, someone from Morocco, someone from Pakistan, India, Nepal, America, Brazil. I mean, the list goes on. So, what would be
I
the
love
first day?
keep calling all these countries. Keep calling all of them. All of them are welcome. Um,
Oh, brothers. So, let's go towards Argentina, let's Peru, let's go towards the UK, Spain, Colombia, Germany,
love
Norway,
it.
Switzerland.
I love it. I love it.
It's an
So
open invitation. It's an open invitation to all the residents of
open.
this world to come to Cape Town.
It's so you want to know how they experience how day one looks like. Whew.
Yeah, because you see, they will be coming from many different, countries, from many different nations. So if a
Yeah,
delegate like wants to know, what is the designed experience that begins to dissolve those borders and forgot something real, between them that can actually bring them closer to
yeah.
each other. How does that experience for them look like? Yeah.
That's a beautiful question and a very important question. We obviously are planning to share greater details about the conference on our social media and our website going forward, but so I'll share it here so it's gonna be
Let's
heard.
Yeah, but Kgotso, let's keep it very secretive. It should be like
No, no,
not
no,
all the
no.
beats,
It's
but
gonna.
some beats.
I'll
So,
share. So I'll share. So I'll share here. So
okay,
it's gonna be heard for the first time here. Brother, it's
perfect,
so
perfect.
important. It's so important that when leaders gather, right? When leaders gather, they gather in a safe place, right? They gather in a space where, as leaders, it's not easy for us to be vulnerable because people always expect us to be the ones to have the ideas, to be the solution bringers, to be the role models, to be this, to be that, to be that. You can never say I'm not okay and all of that kind of thing, right? And we want to create a day one experience where the conference starts up in community. So where we all forget about our titles, the awards, who is the most award winning, who knows who's worked with the President of the United States, and all of that. And we just start with a we are brothers and sisters who share the same goal. Different ways of achieving it, but we share the same goal. So we're working on having what you call a let's cook together. So we will be taking the delegates to a place where beautiful place in Cape Town where they'll sit you guys up in teams and mix you guys up in countries, and you
Mhm.
guys will get to know one another. And on the table, on each table, they will put a recipe, and you guys have to cook it together.
Oh my
Um,
God.
you have to cook it
Oh,
together, and you have to
lovely.
eat it together. And the beauty of this is no one can say, "Oh, this food is not nice," because you guys would have cooked it together. So um, that's going to be
Exactly, exactly. The collective effort
it's going to
involved
be a
in that.
collective effort. But realize something. It's not just about the cooking. It's about you guys are going to get to know each other from a human perspective before the work that you guys do,
Mm,
before the accolades, before those things don't matter. What matters first is connecting. Because remember, the work that you are doing, you are shooting a podcast right now, not because you want to be known as the world's greatest podcaster. No, you're shooting a podcast because you want to inspire people, right? In the best way to
mm,
inspire
yeah.
people is if you can function as a person yourself. You can't want to inspire people if you can't function as a people yourself. So that's the first. So day one of the conference is not even we're gonna get there and all of a sudden we're gonna talk about what is changed. No, before we get to all those conversations, beautiful conversation, let's connect. Let's connect over a meal. And I think, I think there's nothing greater than connecting over food. So it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah,
So, so,
no, no, nobody, nobody hates food. Everybody want some food, obviously.
so,
And there's
so
no
that's a
fighting over
snippet.
food as well.
So that's just the snippet
Yeah.
of day one. So,
Oh my God. I think I'm sure there's much more to that. There's much more to that. So stay curious, guys, because it will
stay
definitely gonna
curious
be a
while you
very
register.
different
Stay
experience.
curious while you register. So don't just be curious. Register. That's important.
Yeah, yeah. Registering one is the first step to think about having food together. When you register,
Exactly.
we'll definitely spill more further beans for sure. Oh my brother, thank you. Let's give some hope to someone right now, like to a listener. If there's a listener right now who is a 24-year change maker and they do have a project, they are passionate about building in the community, maybe in Nigeria, India. I just love speaking many different countries because since childhood I have been too exposed to geography, so the
Yeah.
geography is embedded in my mind. So that's how I go into different countries in Nigeria, in Seoul, in Korea,
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico, in Central America, Nicaragua, Honduras. investendees in Europe. So they are listening to this podcast and they're wondering like whether NGLA 2026 is for them. What would you say directly to them?
Whew.
What would be your message?
You know, my heart. I love young people so much. I love the work I do. I love countries. Um, Someone may say out there. I mean, we've heard this several times. This sounds too good to be true, right? And guess what? You are worthy of something good. That's the first thing I'll say. Oftentimes, when you say something is too good to be true, it's it could be also because you don't see yourself worthy of something good, right? You are so used to the the joggering of false hope and going from conference to conference looking for something and never getting it. That now hearing about this and you wondering, is it the real thing? Is it like is can this be it? I want to say firstly it is. I'm going to use the word remnant, right? Remnant. If you're listening, just Google that word. That word describes a people who are chosen, who are different, who are tired of the the system that just circulates over and over the same thing over and again. Since I was born, there's always been conferences about change, making the world a better place, yada 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 yada. If you are tired of that and you want
Mm,
something real, something raw, something that's for you, if you are tired of where you are at in terms of operating from where you were at, if you were hungry for long-term community, long-term resources, ability, platform capacity, this is for you. um I could speak about my journey over and over. I'm at a place now where I'm not about awards, I'm not about accolades, I'm not about getting recognition, because I've gotten all of that, right? I've gotten all of that, and I'm at a place now. I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong. It's given me credibility, of course. Hence, I'm here. But it's time where we empower the person out there, the young person. We're not just looking for young people who are established. You could be out there right now and you don't know how to start. You want to start, but you don't know. Apply. It's $20. We spoke about faith. Enter this journey through faith. Don't think about how will I get to South Africa? How will I do this? How do I do this? Just apply. Be like the sower on the ground who put a seed and expects the fruits. Your $20, use it as that seed. Apply. You can't expect greatness if you've not put things towards your greatness, right? Apply, take that step, follow us on our social media platforms to follow everything. But all I'm going to say is, I'm not even going to try to oversell it to you. The new generation is exactly what it is. We are looking for you. Like I said, we're building an ark. We don't know what we are protecting you from. We could be protecting you from the joggering of conferences. It's time for you to step out. You are not going to be young forever. You know, that's why the age we're looking for is 18 to 40. Because we want to cultivate that young people to be productive and fruitful and empower their countries. And also we're building an academy that's going to produce greater things after. We're going to be visiting countries. We will be moving the conference to other countries as well. But be part of it now. Do not be the generation or the group of people who would say, I wish I joined at the beginning. Don't
mm,
create regrets you don't want. So apply for the new generation.
mm,
And I will be, for these other conferences, you never see the founders at the door when you meet, when you arrive. Some of these conferences you never even meet the founders, right? I personally, as the founder of the new generation, will be welcoming you at the hotel when you arrive. We'll pick you. We will. The team will pick you up at the airport, which most conferences they don't do that. You have to take yourself from the airport to wherever the
Yes,
conference is. We
absolutely.
will be picking
And
you up at
I
the
can.
you know, we will be picking you up at the airport because it's an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, we're excited to host you. It's an honor. This conference, every part of it is about you and for the generation that you will impact. So I can't wait to meet you, can't wait to hug you, and I can't wait for you to experience every single element of our conference. So register.
Oh, oh my brother. There is so much love, compassion, energy, warmth, healing in your words that I can just, feel it through the conversation. And I'm sure that everybody who will be watching and listening to this conversation, they can also feel that connection. They can
I hope so.
also sense the value that is really there for them to take it out. And as they say that self investment on your personal and professional development is the biggest key and the most important currency in anyone's life. And I think that's how you start out and build something for yourself of greater value, not entitled to your own self, but for other people that you actually
True.
care about in your country, because the mission and
Absolutely.
vision here is beyond you, is it's all about other people. I mean, of course it's about you because you will be the one who will be taking the charge, but again it comes down to create impact in other people's lives, and that's is exactly what our leader actually do. So
Exactly, and I
I
think
mean,
and I think to add, someone may say, "What if I am not 18, or what if I'm over 40?" Share it with someone
mhm.
else. Share it with
Oh,
someone else. We all know someone between that gap who needs the opportunity. I
mm,
want to use the term, their lives will never be the same again. Their lives will never
mm.
be the same again.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, it will definitely gonna be an entirely different life-changing experience. Definitely. Let's uh, close go towards the closing reflections now, right? I mean, we have touched upon so many things on so many aspects, also on the conference aspect. So let's try to build further on that. Like, if someone wants to stay connected to NGIF and NGLA journey even before applying, where should they go? Like, what will be, what will be the future long-term engagement look like after this conference? Because in most conferences that we see, you just attend the conference, you do the photo shoot, you come back, and it's all done. Because there's no like long-term engagement element is completely missing there. So what's the value of long-term engagement here for the delegates, for young persons coming from different countries?
You know, the what you're mentioning about these conferences, it pains my heart. Like honestly, it pains my heart completely. Um, so when you go into our website, right, the www.ngifoundation.org, obviously you see everything. You see the countdown and etc. etc. You can apply on the main page or right on top on your right, where it says Academy Portal. You can apply there as well. The first thing it asks you to do, it asks you to create an account, right? This is before you apply. You create an account. Why it asks you to create an account? So that you can have access to the Academy portal, right? Then within the Academy portal is where you do your registrations, go through the whole process, put your video, So application process is like this. Create account, start your application, fill in the four short form questions, shoot your 1 minute 30 seconds video introducing yourself. You add the link there, and then you make payments, and then you get your. There's two posters you get. You get the poster that says I'm starting my applications, which you share on your social media. Then you get the last poster after you've made the payment. I have successfully applied. That's also what you shared on your social media. The reason though there's a portal and you have an account is so that you know that you have access to what's going to happen after.
Mm.
This is about, the conference that we are having in South Africa, Cape Town this year is the start of something bigger, right? As a
Mm.
founder, as a founder, I am more excited about what happens after because we launched the academy on day one of the conference publicly. So for those who did not get to come to South Africa, they get access to the academy where they will get access immediately to tools and things that empower them and opportunity, global funding, etc., etc. But also snippets of what's happening at the conference because you are part of us. We are not creating an elitist of them and they and they, all of that kind of system. No. And then once the conference comes to an end, and people physically go back to their countries and they get their 1,000 rand of seed grant, the $1,000 seed grant, um, the work carries on. We start having trainings, workshops, debriefs of what happened at the
Mm.
conference, talk shows, and all of those things. And then we start connecting. Remember, we're choosing 50 countries to come down to South Africa, but we will obviously have more than 50 countries within the academy, right? Now, what we do is we
Mm.
make people meet each other, right? Virtually, right?
Wonderful.
To create relationships and people get to post, so it'll be like a social media platform where people get to share, oh,
Mm.
next month I'm working on this in my country, if you want to help or come through, let me know. You know what I mean? Sometimes there are countries I know that are very close to each other, like it's a drive
Absolutely.
away to one another. And sometimes there's one person in that country who's having a project that, imagine if they knew someone from the next country who can support them. You know what I mean? Sometimes support doesn't come through finance as well. It comes to hands. Sometimes you need people who's going to physically help you, right? For example, let's say you wanted to shoot a podcast physically, and maybe you need a videographer, right? You could meet someone in that
Mm.
group who's also part of that, right? Simple things like that.
Mm.
It's going to be a continuous, and then not only do you share what you're going to be doing, you also share your what I'll call like an appraisal report where you share, oh, this is what I did, this is the number of people I reached out to, this is my next program, yada yada yada. Creating day-to-day conversations, but most especially we will have a mental health and emotional intelligence system within the platform. And so as a leader, when you feel like you're going through a lot throughout the year and you
Mm.
want to speak to someone, you want to pause, you have this platform. Because I said it earlier, I said leaders, it's hard for leaders to be vulnerable because everyone expects them to have answers. No one ever asks them, how are you doing? Or even when people ask you how
Absolutely.
you're doing, they never expect you to say you're not fine. They're always expecting you to be great. Right? But here we are
Mm.
creating a platform where, guess what? You are incredible as much as you are not okay right now. It's okay. Right? And
Mm.
like it's going to be, as I said earlier, I don't want to oversell this to you. I want you to experience it. And the reason I'm saying I don't want to oversell it to you, because I'm sure someone out there might say, but I've heard this before. I get that. Experience it.
Mm.
My role for you, my role to you is to create something that you will experience just once. It's going to be a lifetime.
Mm.
It's going to be a lifetime. It's going to be a lifetime opportunity academy, and as we move the conference, the physical conference, because after this conference, we'll be building other flagship conferences, right? That are going to be directed to specific things. For example, if we come to Pakistan, the conference we have in Pakistan will be for Pakistan, right? It's so important to
Mm.
create things that empower the country in itself. Some of these conferences they will happen
Absolutely.
in a country, and there's no correlations to the country that they are hosting. That doesn't create impact. That's just ticking off boxes. We've been here, we've been there, we've been there, and I don't want that. I see so many of young people who attend conferences posting on LinkedIn daily of they were in this country and they went to this place, and I'm just like, we've lost the plot. It's not just about going to these
Absolutely.
countries and taking pictures. It was never about that. It was about
Yeah,
impact. It was never about
absolutely.
the pictures. Oh, I met people. We took a picture at the Big Ben
Yeah.
in London. That's beautiful. I'm not against that. But it's not about that. The reason these conferences are scamming people, and I'm sorry for using this word scamming, is because we've gotten so distracted into, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in London. I'm going to take pictures with people from different parts of the world. That's beautiful, but we forgot about what happens after. Okay, okay, so you take pictures with people from different parts of the world. Do you still speak to them 6 months later? No. Are
Hmm.
you happy?
I think
Are you
that's
happy
that's
with the
the
fact that are you happy with the fact that you have pictures of strangers that you don't speak to anymore? No, you shouldn't be happy. So we are creating a platform where, think about it this way. If you are not a faith person or spiritual, you might not know this, but think about what Jesus did with the disciples, right? Jesus had a mandate. He built a team of disciples, and their mandate was to spread the gospel around the world. And today, the gospel is everywhere, right? And those people will forever be figures, great figures in the Christian faith, right? In that same
hmm,
breath, we are creating disciples of change globally who are going to be brothers and sisters for life and who are going to multiply.
hmm,
You shouldn't be happy that the fact that you're the only person in your country who's doing great things. That's not an achievement.
absolutely
Your
not
goal
at all.
should be to multiply. Now, not everyone knows how to multiply, and hence why the new generation is going to teach you that.
Oh my God, so beautiful. I really love the way. I mean, that shows your passion. The way you respond with so much thoughtfulness. Actually tells that how deeply you are invested in this journey and care about people uh, who I'm considering applying. And I'm sure that they're gonna remember it, and the connections that we're gonna be making through this conference stays till lifetime. Good. So I would also like to highlight one major barrier here, because for many people, like if I talk about South Asia, other parts
Mm-hmm.
of the world, uh, you know, travel is also is a major challenge when it comes to getting a visa. So I just wanted to know that for those people who are traveling from different parts of the world, I'm sure, like someone from Europe, they can easily, come to South Africa. They don't have to go through that much of a struggle to get a visa, to reach South Africa, comparatively to someone living in South Asia or in Southeast Asia or in Africa or in any other part of the world. So what's like the facilitation here for them to get a visa to, from your end? So just they know, this
So,
is how
so that's
we
a
are
very
also being
that's
facilitated.
that's a very big question. And it's a very important question. So we
Yeah.
are very dedicated as a foundation to be part of that journey with you, right? The journey of your anything that is required from our end to validate your reason of should be getting that visa, why you should be getting it, who you are coming to, and all the proof of identification of where you're going. One, two, we're not just saying. So as much as remember, we said we're gonna pick you up from the airport, right? So our relationship does not just start there. Our relationship with you starts the minute you successfully apply and your application is in.
Hmm.
our relationship begins. So when you are busy, when you are then told you are selected for the conference, you must come to South Africa. We are heavily part of your journey. I mean, you are a partner ambassador, and you're part of our partner ambassador group. And I'm sure you've seen how we have been interacting with you, and I now have some of our teammates also interacting with you. That's how intense involved we are with every single. So we will not just say, "Oh, please tell us once you've gotten your visa. We'll see you forward." But also, I know, and perhaps you could give us ideas that one of the greatest challenges we're facing has been specifically from Asia with people making payments. Some countries, someone said that they don't, in their country they don't have. I think it's Iran. They don't have. They've been globally excluded from the global payment system.
Yeah, yeah. The a financial system, absolutely. The PayPal and
Yes,
all other. Yeah,
yes.
yes, yes. Visa card,
So
Mastercard, absolutely.
yeah, so now there's an increase of inquiries around that, right? And we're really trying to navigate and see how we can navigate that. Um, we're doing research daily and seeing how it works, and we have such a huge number of people who
Hmm.
really want to apply that side but of this challenge. So even with that, we are still in communication with everyone. We are still telling everyone to sit tight. We are thinking about something, and sharing it with every single person. So if perhaps you know a solution, or someone who's going to be watching this podcast and they might know a solution, please reach out to me.
Hmm.
The email would be founder at ngifoundation.org. Please reach out to us. Tell us how we can get people from that end, from that side of the world, to apply. Because at the end of the day, we. I said yesterday when I was sharing on my social media that I'll be doing a podcast. I said we have crazy plans for Asia, and we mean it.
Oh my God.
So we will make sure that every single person in Asia is represented at the conference because we have crazy plans for Asia. That's all I'm saying.
So much, composed answer to such a complicated problem, I would say. And I just also like to take a, I would also like to, take this opportunity to address also to those people who are listening to this podcast, right? Or if they go through this podcast and they know, if someone is living in India, in Pakistan, in Iran, in Afghanistan, in Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, right? And they have been to South Africa before. So as Kgotso was saying, that you can also reach out to the email, which I'll also be attaching along with the caption, to let us know about the visa process, so things become more simplified
Yeah,
for all the young people, because we do have some people who travel around the world and they have some good knowledge about getting a visa. So I think that can be really helpful if we can also like tag some travel bloggers and they can guide us in better way. And also it applies to different other regions of the world as well, Southeast Asia to North Africa to South Africa to North America, South America. So every region I'm addressing to all the people here. So things become easier for every young person to land in South Africa easily, specifically in Cape Town. Good. So I think we almost have reached to the end of our conversation. Indeed, it was. I just saw on the timer. It's almost like 2 hours. I mean, but that time just flies away when we're having the conversation. But I just want to,
absolutely.
land this question to the heart of a young person. There's this young person listening this right now, maybe, on a bus, in a bedroom, maybe in a university library, listening this on a laptop, who feels like they have something to give, but hasn't been yet told that they matter. This is important, and that their idea is valid and that their time is now. What do you say to them? They
Whew,
are not the
you're
future;
gonna
they are
make
the
me.
present today.
You're gonna make me cry.
Uh,
What I'd like to say, hmm, I would like to say to them something I wish someone said to me, and I'll say it to you. You are born for this season. You are born for greatness. You were chosen. You will become every single thing you set your mind to. And you can be all of that. It just takes one decision. It takes a decision of believing, delusionally so, to a point where nothing can change your thought process about it. Believe in yourself. And I, as Kgotso Hope Lekau, we might not have met yet. I want you to look at the screen and know that I believe in you. And that if you give us an opportunity as the new generation for us to meet and align, we will do that. Not because we are God or we have figured everything out. No, is that because we believe in you. We believe in you before you've even started. And I want you to know that you deserve the opportunity. It's so important. I think access is so important, but also someone giving you an opportunity, one opportunity. It takes one. It takes one opportunity to change your entire life. And I think the new generation leaders assembly and the academy that we have is us saying, "Here's one opportunity. Take a hold of it." And I believe in you, and I can't wait to see you in Cape Town.
I mean, that is such a powerful way to give someone hope in such a beautiful manner. And I would also like to quote here a beautiful quotation which my mentor said to me, that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't play. So I would
Mm,
say that, now is the time to play your shot. Just believe and make the decision, and just believe. I mean, just believe one time, and you will see the impact that it will bring into your personal
absolutely.
life. And I'm also speaking from my personal experience, as as we have. I'm not gonna that much big celebrity, I would say, but after experiencing a few things, I can say so. I mean, it is always so much impactful when you invest in yourself. I think on that note, God, so thank you so much. Genuinely, my brother, this is the kind of conversation after such a long time that I really enjoyed, and I wish we should kept going. But yeah, for another day, for another time. There are some other important things to do specifically for the leadership assembly, and really looking forward to having one-on-one with you there as well. A live conversation with the delegates as well there. And it actually reminds me that why storytelling matters, because you just told a
uh,
story that will change at least one person who heard it today, right? So for everyone who listens, the new generation leaders assembly is happening in Cape Town this year, and the dates are 18th to 22nd of November. Head to the website ngifoundation.org, apply to begin your journey, and I'll also be mentioning all the details in the caption for your convenience. And
amazing.
can't wait to meet you all, beautiful young souls from all over the world gathering in Cape Town this year. And I'll always stay curious. Thank you so much. Kgotso from your end.
Thank you very much, brother.
Oh, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next podcast soon.